So today I'm going to be comparing the entire Thermalmaster P series, and this includes the P1 to the left, the P2, the P2 Pro, and the P3 here to hopefully see which gives you the best balance of resolution, features, real-world usability, and which might be best for you given your situations. So let's go ahead and take a look. So as you can see, all four of these are smartphone kind of plug-in modules. So they work through this USB-C port here. Also works on iOS if you've got an iPhone with a USB-C port. And there's no built-in displays to any of these, so you have to use the app via the Tempmaster phone app. And make sure you hang around to the end of the video as well, because I'm going to show you which one I'd pick if I could only keep one. So I think I'll go through and just talk about the construction quality, the general build quality of each of them. So you can see here with the P1, it's got a pretty rugged sort of construction. However, the casing is made of plastic. All right, it's really light, but thankfully you can see here there is a recessed lens that does protect the lens from scratches if you place it downwards like that. So it's lightweight, I suppose, due to the plastic, but I would say that the others have a much nicer construction. So this is the Thermalmaster P2, so a bit closer up to the camera, as you can see, and it does have the lens recessed slightly in there. There's actually no glass on that front lens, only glass surrounding it. And the construction is aluminium, so anodized aluminium. And overall just feels a lot more premium due to that level of construction. You also get this case, this sort of, it's a case slash keychain holder, so you can actually attach this thing to your keychain because it is absolutely tiny compared to the P1. With the P1 you do get this carry case there as well, but it's not as sleek and something as easy as that. You can just chuck on to your keychain. Now in terms of the P2 Pro, it's actually a little smaller than the P2, as you see side by side. It's a little bit tinier, but the most important thing is that it comes with this additional lens, and this is a macro lens, and this is just your normal lens, I guess, if you're looking at stuff from that's not really close, short to mid range, even longer range. You'd want to take this thing off, and basically it just magnetically attaches to the front like that. And again, the overall construction, it's made of aluminium alloy, anodized aluminium alloy. It comes with this little lens cap as well that sits on the front. Very well constructed, feels light but also kind of sturdy due to that aluminium build, so it does have a more premium feel. And here is the Thermalmaster P3, and this one is made also completely of aluminium. It's about the same size as the P1, probably actually a little smaller. But the coolest thing about this one is that it has a focusable lens here, and allows you to get quite close to objects, really close compared to all these other cameras. Plus you can focus on things that are far away as well, so it's very versatile. I just like this rotating dial. It feels high quality, also made of aluminium, and that whole lens mechanism, you can see that recessed lens there. You do get a carry case with the P3, and I forgot to mention the P2 Pro does not come with a carry case for whatever reason. Okay, so let's go through the specifications for each of these cameras and compare them. So with the Thermalmaster P1, this thing is rated at 160 by 120 resolution, 40 millikelvin as well, same as the P2 and the P2 Pro. And you can upscale to 320 to 240 resolution in the app. You've also got a temperature measurement range of -20 to 600 degrees Celsius, so pretty wide, and again identical to the P2 and the P2 Pro. And yeah, this has fixed optics, so yeah, unlike the P3, it doesn't have any macro lens that you can chuck on or any kind of focus adjustment. And yeah, for what it is, it's fairly compact, low power, very light as well. And moving on to the ThermalMaster P2, you get an upgraded resolution here, so 256 by 192 resolution, 40 millikelvin. But yeah, those extra pixels really make the image look sharper, and it does have also that upscaling feature on the app, so you can upscale to 512 by 384 pixels. And yeah, measurement range is still pretty much the same, so negative 20 degrees Celsius to 600 degrees Celsius, but there is better accuracy, so it's basically plus or minus 1.5 degrees Celsius margin of error when you're measuring temperatures. So I think they mentioned, ThermalMaster mentioned this as a PCB accuracy claim, so it's yeah, more for kind of tighter measurements. And yeah, you still get this fixed focus design, so you can't chuck on another lens onto the front. You're kind of just stuck with what it is, if you could say stuck with it. But yeah, it's a good all-rounder, kind of similar sort of image overall to the P1, but just with better resolution. Both of these do have a digital zoom function as well in the app, so you can play around with that. But moving on to the ThermalMaster P2 Pro. So this one here is pretty cool. So you've got the same resolution as the P2, 256 by 192, but yeah, 40 millikelvin again, same. But you got this magnetic macro lens. So yeah, apparently this can measure 0.25 millimeter resistors as well. Moving on to the ThermalMaster P3, the resolution on this model is 256 by 192, so pretty much identical to the P2 and P2 Pro, and it's also rated at 35 millikelvin, which is actually a bit less than the P2 and P2 Pro, which is good. It means that it has a more sensitive sensor in here, able to discern subtle changes in or subtle differences in temperature. And you've also got that upscaling software as well. It does upscale to 512 by 384. And of course you get this macro lens and manual focus, okay, for close targets. It's an 8mm lens, so you can really get, this is quite amazing. You get very, very close up to components, and as well as further away as well, focus on far away objects. And ThermalMaster mentioned on their website that it detects a 1 milliamp leakage for PCB work. And yeah, it's the same temperature measurement specifications, so negative 20 degrees Celsius to 600 degrees Celsius, and accuracy is plus or minus 2 degrees Celsius. So in terms of which one should you get, if you're looking for something entry level, best value for money, I'll pick the P1 because this thing gets the job done for most people, okay? But it does obviously have a limited resolution as the smallest resolution out of all of these. So you're not going to get the sharpest image, you know, compared to the P2 and the P2 Pro, but still it's comparable, especially with the scaling up, the increased resolution. The P2, on the other hand, is a great mid-range option. It's very portable, and I like that it comes with this keychain case as well. It's kind of designed to be, I guess, carried on or as a EDC thermal camera, and has better native resolution, and yeah, very small, great all-rounder for stuff close up, further away. For PCB boards, I wouldn't say that it's ideal because, again, due to the fixed focus, this thing is kind of got like a mid-range use, short to mid-range use. The P2 Pro here, so this thing obviously adds the macro lens, so if you need to get really up close and personal to electronics, that kind of thing, inspecting small components, it does also retain the small size of the P2. The P3, however, is the overall top pick for precision electronics and inspection tasks that require focus and zoom detail. It can get really close to circuit boards, even closer than the P2 Pro, and you get sharper details because of that. And I really like this rotating lens as well, this focusable lens. It makes it so versatile because you can actually use this for long range applications as well. But of course, it's going to be the most expensive of the four. Now, I said I'd choose an overall winner, and I'm holding it in my hand here. I really think the P3 is the absolute champ. I mean, the focusable lens just means you don't have to carry around the extra macro lens of the P2 Pro. You know, I just find that it's, just annoying sometimes if you're having to take it on and off. If you really need something smaller, I think it's great, but it just can be a little bit fiddly. Of course, you're playing around with a larger size unit there, it's more expensive, but it's just one of those things that you can buy, set and forget kind of thing, and less parts that can potentially be lost. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and if you have questions as well, I will get back to you if you just leave them down in the comments. If you enjoy this video, do me a favor, click the like button and share it with someone who might be interested. It just helps me to get this channel out to more people. And yeah, if you want to keep up to date with the latest thermal camera and night vision reviews, make sure you subscribe. Okay, so I've got the Thermal Master P1 to the left, the Thermal Master P2 Pro in the center, and the Thermal Master P3 to the right. Now, the Thermal Master P2, which I haven't got in this video, pretty much looks the same, very similar to the P2 without the macro lens on. So yeah, I've only got 3 phones. I think 3 is enough, really. That's pretty much looks mad already. But yeah, basically you can see here all the way to the left, the P1, and it's got a very similar field of view to the other, to the P2 Pros. You can see here, like very similar field of view. In fact, it's probably the same field of view. It's just that I've got the P2 Pro slightly further ahead, maybe another 5 centimeters ahead. So objects may appear slightly closer in the P2 Pro. And yeah, basically here on the table, you can see like all my gear. And you can already tell with the P2 Pro, the resolution is making a bit of a difference. And images are sharper. I haven't got the X3 enabled on the P2. So if I enable the X3 on the P1, just compare it to the P2 without the X3, that's what it looks like. Almost starts to approximate it, but yeah, I would say it sort of compensates for the for the lower resolution. Okay, but it's not going to be as good as a high resolution camera, of course. I'll turn off the X3. This is the X3 on the P2 Pro and the X3 on the P1 on at the same time, and you can already see, yeah, it's much clearer still on the P2, like noticeably clearer. For some reason it lags a little bit on this phone, the P2 Pro, but it's an older phone that I'm using, so I'm just going to deactivate the X3 on both of these now. And here on the right, you've got the P3, just looking at this lamp, and the great thing is that you can focus it. There's a little focusing dial here, so I can get really a sharp image. And when I activate the X3, look at that, extremely sharp. And here on the desk, I've got a few bits and pieces that we'll just test out. So I've got this torch. Okay. And yeah, basically I'll leave that on for a little bit, and I've also got this circuit board here on the table, which I'll switch on, let it warm up. Okay, but this is yeah, I'll just a little test here so you can see, like my feet, for some reason my 4th toe is colder than the rest. Isn't that weird? But yeah, the resolution is much better on the P2 and the P3, as you can see. Okay, but the P1 is still doing an excellent job, and there's bits and pieces like PowerPoints and stuff here as well. And you can use these cameras to track animals, droppings, fresh droppings, that kind of thing will show up nicely, especially in colder environments. Now this little circuit board has probably already started to warm up, but you can see here this flashlight is showing up quite well on all cameras. For some reason on the P1, the temperature difference just looks, it has a high contrast for whatever reason. They all should be 40 millikelvin, so really shouldn't be that much difference. And here might be the firmware. Here is the this little LEP module that I have, and let's have a look close up at this circuit board, and I'll bring it really close to the P1. All right, and you can see all the little details, the individual components, and the copper wiring underneath, little pathways right there. You can even make that out. If I turn on the X3, you get a boost in sharpness. There's some odd artifacts on the edges, but yeah, it does isolate out those components a bit better. Turn it off again. This is the P2 Pro without the macro lens, okay? So you can see it's not doing very well up close, but if I grab the macro lens out and pop it on, it just sticks on there magnetically. Now check this out. Wow. So you can really get up close, and you can even read the writing that's on the circuit board. If I turn on the X3, where is it here as well, you get even a better boost there in sharpness and legibility with the writing. I'll turn it off. Just lags a bit on my phone. You need probably like a more recent phone. The phone I'm using is very old, 10 years or something like that. Surprised it even still works. And this is the P3, and the P3, you might think, oh, it's too blurry. Let's rotate this focus dial, focus ring, and check this out. I'm going to put it all the way right to the end, as close as I can get it. It's incredible. You look at that. You can see the writing on this chip. I don't know if I noticed that before. There's little bits of writing on the chip. Must be lasered in or something, and so it's just transmitting heat at a slightly different temperature. And yeah, it's just incredible. Look at that. You can see all these little pathways as well under the board. And I'll put on the X3. You don't even need it. Yeah, that's the X3, and you can see it just on these older phones anyway. It does cause a bit of lag. I'll undo it. Normal mode here. Really impressive. And I'll bring it up close again just to highlight that with the P2 Pro. You know, it doesn't allow you to get as close, and I'm just trying to say, read this. Yeah, look, you can read the writing on this chip here, but it's just not as clear as on the P3, and you can't get as close. You can get like really that close on the P3, which is that's just so impressive. If you can get the P2 Pro at a good price, a much better price than the P3, might be worth it. Otherwise, I'd really just get the P3, because with this focusing dial, it's like it does everything, you know, from close up to long range. And see if I can see the individual components on this inside of the board as well here. Here we go. That's the P3. Let's see, get closer to that chip. Look at that. You can see the writing on the other side of that chip. And if we bring it closer to the P2 Pro, still pretty good. And on the P1, not bad. It's getting really hot, this chip. But yeah, with the P1, you're not going to get as much sharpness, or you're not going to get as close to the components as the P2 Pro and the P3. But for value-wise, I mean, it does an excellent job being able to see stuff fairly close. It's going to be useful for anyone working on circuit boards up close still. And I'll just go for a little walk around. Let's have a look. And this is my fridge here. I should take off that macro lens for the P2 Pro. This is the yeah, this is my fridge. Let me just focus this P3 a bit better. There we go. So that's like the advantage again of that P3. It's all pretty similar. There's a bit of heat radiating through the side of that area, that wall. The coils is inside my fridge here. And the coils on the right side of my fridge. And over here, circuit board, and the circuit breaker in the corner there. And also important to note that the P3 on the far right does get a little bit closer to everything. It has a slightly longer focal length, and you know, I can just like focus it in. Check that out. It gets so close to this component. Like it's almost touching the thing. It's literally almost touching this thing. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible that you can get that close with this. Let me just and I'm operating 3 cameras at the same time, so bear with me if things are kind of a bit jittery here and there. That's the P2 Pro again without the macro lens, and the P1. And I do like how the P1 is very balanced, so you can see, I guess they've just altered the focal length and the algorithm, image processing algorithm, so that you can see stuff up close as well as far away. Okay, so looking down the street here, and this is where the P2 Pro and the P3 really, they do shine. Okay, especially with the P3, I believe has a slightly lower millikelvin value as well than the P2 Pro. You can see individual people walking around in the back there very easily. In fact, you can still sort of see people on the P1 if we zoom in with the digital zoom. Okay, has been raining though, so this is creating is going to create a greater temperature differential between just the people out there in the street, and the road's going to be colder. If you live in a hot environment, it's not going to be as obvious. But you can see cars down below. There's a bunch parked there, and you can also see on the P3 all the way down the base where there's like a couple of warm spots. So that's where some cars have actually parked, and just here they've parked and then they've moved. Just a bit worried I'm going to drop the whole rig off my balcony. I'm trying not to lean too far forwards. But in terms of spotting stuff from a distance, all of these cameras really are doing a decent job. But the P3, obviously with that extra focus dial, you can really dial things in, focus things in, and see the detail at the back. And also the P3, like I said, does have a slightly longer focal length, so as you can see, everything's a little bit larger on the P3, more sensitive millikelvin as well, lower millikelvin. But yeah, the P2 Pro is still doing well. And you can see this building here in the center. I believe there's some radio components and bits and pieces like antennas, maybe some radiators at the top there as well. So they are showing up a little better, clearer, and with better contrast with the P3. And you always have to kind of keep adjusting that dial to make sure that you've got the crispest sort of image, whereas with the other two, you're just stuck with whatever it is. Alrighty, so I am out here tonight, and just looking down this street, I've got the P1 to the left, the Filmmaster P1,
Thermalmaster P2 in the middle, and the Thermalmaster P3 to the right. And I mean, all three cameras are doing fairly well. As you can see, they're able to differentiate all these different heat signatures quite well. And I think overall the P3 does have a much higher sharpness level than the other two cameras. So obviously you do get much more sharpness due to that focusable lens, and it comes with higher price obviously. But you know, as you can see looking down that street there, you can see like that people all the way down the back. But look, the other two are doing fairly well, and surprisingly the P1 as well is doing pretty well. But you know, with the lower millikelvin rating of the P3, you do get higher thermal resolution. So basically that means that you can differentiate between small changes in temperature, which translates to just better contrast. Better contrast when the heat differences aren't really that significant. I mean, tonight it's a pretty, I would say it's a colder night here in Melbourne. It's, you know, coming up to summer anyway, but you know, it has been raining, so that's why there is a bit of better thermal contrast here tonight. But yeah, I mean, technically the P3 has a slightly lower millikelvin value than the P1 and the P2. The P1 and the P2 Pro have a less than or equal to 40 millikelvin value. I believe the P3, I reviewed this in the past, had a slightly lower millikelvin value. I believe it was 35. Okay, so I'm going to walk through this little park here, and let's see how we go. So we can see a bunch of people sitting on the right here. All three cameras are doing quite well. And just refresh that P2 Pro a bit. Just walking up ahead. Now normally around here you can see some mice. So yeah, just to the left you can see that little dot there. That's a little mouse there in the bushes. And the only thing I can do with the P3 is just focus it a bit more. But all three cameras are picking that up well. Let's get closer and see what's happening. They all hide in these bushes at night, jump out. So yeah, if I'm lucky, we're lucky, we might be able to find some possums around here, up in the trees. Like that looks like one up there in the center. So yeah, the P3, as you can tell, does allow you to get a little closer. It's focal length is just a bit longer than the other two. And the great thing about these cameras as well, these thermal cameras, is that you can actually use them to navigate at night. And I'm getting up close to this tree. Where is it? I thought I saw, here we go, that's the possum. I wouldn't be able to spot that possum otherwise. Well, actually it's not a possum, it's a light. Okay, let's continue on. That's a false alarm. Okay, I'm sure we'll find one. At least we can see people kind of walking around. I did spot a mouse before. They usually sort of hang around up in these trees. And yeah, there's another mouse to the left. It's pretty cool, like to think that you could spot something as small as that all the way, you know. And here you can see all the way in the distance, right in the middle, you can see there's like, looks like a person with a dog maybe, right at the center of that field, and then someone walking in the back. And you can still kind of pick that up on the, yeah, you can still kind of pick that up on the P1. See? It fades in and out. The cars, especially out the back, you can pick them out. So foot detection wise, it's actually not too bad. It's medium to long range. This is a group of people in the center here of this walkway. And it's almost pitch black in this part of the park. There's a little bit of ambient light, but you know, this is, like I said, it's great because you can use this to just navigate, walk around. And different color palettes as well. You can also alter the brightness if you want, if the screen's too bright. I'm just wondering why I haven't come across a possum yet. Usually they're all over the place here. Yeah, usually they're all over the place. Maybe that's one up there. Here we go. There's one up in the tree. Moving around. So all three cameras are picking up on that pretty well. So if you're like an animal watcher, that kind of thing, this is a pretty cool little device to have on you. And especially with the P1, really brings it down to a level where, you know, a lot of people can begin to actually afford to purchase these things. So most of these thermal cameras are ridiculously expensive. I believe Thermalmaster are operating with a lower margin with this P1. Let's see how they go. Someone with their dog, or no, it's not a dog, it's a possum. Someone playing with the possum here in the park. Okay, and right in the distance there, it's kind of difficult to see these three people walking around unless I had the thermal. Out in the back, it's like a kind of netball team on a court, just where all that the heat was showing up right in the middle in the back. But yeah, this might be a possum here. Let's have a look. I just think it's pretty cool that you can spot stuff from a distance. It's not just something you can use, you know, a few meters away and that's it. You know, things do look like how they should kind of look like outside as well from a decent distance away. Even these buildings here in the background, not as sharp as the P3 obviously, but yeah, it might be good if you're someone who maybe just wants to use a thermal to scout in the distance, 50 to 100 meters. Anything more than that, you'd be hard pressed, especially if you're in an area that's a little hotter. Things might start to blend together at that point, but yeah, it could be a nice little thing that you just keep on you.